Hello once again and welcome to Connections for Life, your gas utility weekly update show. I am tpeet.
I'm Cuvo.
Serrett. So just real quick, guys, this week's a little different. We typically do a what do we call it? An UPSCO
update.
UPSCO update. So in lieu of that this week, we figured because there hasn't been much movement, again, we're kind of still status quo as the COVID
world opens back up.
Pandemic still exists. We're going to bring on an employee profile, and I think we mentioned it in the other show, didn't we? Did we talk about it?
For sure.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So this week we're going to bring on Ken Eldred. He's the controller at UPSCO. Ken's an awesome guy. I think he's been with the company for 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. 8 years. So if we wait any longer, to maybe 9 years. But no, Ken's awesome guy. We're gonna bring him on after this. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add. But
no,
if not, we'll cut right to Ken.
Let's get Ken to the show. Hello and welcome to the show. Our new segment. Today we are introducing this new little area in our show. I don't know what the heck we're gonna call it, but we're gonna do
employee profile.
Employee profile of UPSCO. See, they knew, I didn't know. With that said, we are bringing on Ken Eldred. He is UPSCO's controller, which is a fancy word for CFL. So welcome to the show, Ken.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, buddy.
It's good to see you guys. I miss you.
You too. We miss you too, man. So Kent, we'll try and buzz through this pretty quick and keep it short.
Sure.
We obviously know you pretty well. You're one of my favorite people in the building. No offense to everybody else, but when I come there, the first person I come to see is usually you. So let's start with how long have you been at UPSCO?
Going on 8 years now. It'll be 8 years this November.
Wow.
I guess
8 long years.
8 long years. That makes me feel bad because I remember when you started. So
you're like 9 years, right, Joe?
Yeah, almost 10. Yep.
Yeah.
Grand old man of UPSCO, Joe Serrett.
Yeah, I guess the one thing we want to ask you, Ken, like controller, CFO, like we've all heard those terms, but what does your job entail at UPSCO? Like what do you do all day for the organization?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Chad wrote it.
Typically the controller is got the finance foundation, right? So you go to school for the finance. Bean counter is what a lot of people like to call me, but it's more than that. It's I've had to build a team. I got a very strong team to take care of the processes and help me count the dollars.
Great team. You got a great team.
What's that?
You have a great team. You've assembled a good team. I mean, I've seen the changeover since you came on and you hired your people and some other people retired and moved on. It's made an absolute incredible difference. Like I can certainly see the change.
And I'm hoping some of your people actually will come on the show eventually.
Yeah.
Too, so.
I'm sure a few of them will.
I can just state, to being the new guy who came in under Kent's regime and coming from previous places, nothing against the previous places, but how seamless some of the stuff that I have to deal with on an interaction basis, it is great.
Hashtag Ted's old job.
Hashtag regime.
Regime. You like that word, don't you?
Wow.
It is a good word.
Ken,
Ted, you got a question?
What's one of your favorite memories at UPSCO so far? We're hoping it involves one of us, I'm sure, but then again, I'm hoping it doesn't.
I don't want him to share some of the ones we've had.
That's a tough one because there's so many.
It's a fun place.
It's hard for me to put a finger on one solid happy memory. There's so many of them, but I think when I in perspective, I think I like putting good teams together and putting the people in the right spots, so work related, when I can look back and realize that I've made a difference in putting somebody in the right spot and building a solid foundation, that's very satisfying. So
it's actually a really good memory if you put it that way.
It is. Now I want the real answer. Like, what's your favorite memory of UPSCO? Like, funny thing that's happened that we can tell safely.
Well, I'll say there's been a lot of good ones, and usually most of them are when you guys are in town. When you guys are in town, the
good time
happens.
We're fun.
You guys are. You guys are great.
I just would like one of my favorite memories of UPSCO. I'm going to just kind of jump in here. Is that when I first started and we had new people in and we were starting to build a whole new organization and a whole bunch of new people and things like that. We used to have a Subway restaurant that a handful of us every single day would walk across to this gas station that had a Subway. And Kent was one of the people. And we made that walk and ate lunch there. God, I don't even know how many times, but it was always just like the activity and the fun thing to do. And it was just a great group of guys and good camaraderie. So every day it was awesome. It was awesome. So that's a good Kent memory for me.
I like that.
What you spoke to, Joe, was really cool hearing about the camaraderie and the brotherhood and sisterhood and all that kind of stuff. So let me ask you, Kent, what makes working at UPSCO so great? Because to me, that's one of the things that makes working here so great. But what for you, what makes working at UPSCO great?
I'll say,
besides Joe, obviously.
That's another good question.
Ask him, he'll tell you.
But when it comes down to it, it's the relationships that I've had here and built with you guys and everybody in the building.
You know what those are, Ken? Those are connections. Those are connections.
Those are connections. And to go along with that, though, I think, I got to give the ownership, Andy and Dan, credit because they've given me the leeway to come in and they haven't restricted me, right? They've let me come in and just build with how I think I need to have finance, IT, and HR built. They let me do it, so that's very very gratifying to have the ownership back you like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think we all feel the same way about that.
Absolutely.
Too.
Well, we wanted to keep this short. So Chad, I think Chad's got one more for you.
I just want to know who your favorite sales guy is. It's not loaded at all.
No pressure.
That is not fair.
Oh.
Right,
it's okay. We're not gonna fight in the parking lot over it. We're just.
That's like asking me. It's like asking me what my favorite kid is. I don't have a favorite kid. I love them all. I love all you guys.
Yeah, but you like one better.
Yeah, 100%.
You 100% like one better.
It's okay.
You don't have to answer. That was just
that was our loaded question.
It was just a fun question. Obviously,
I love each and every one of you.
I was going to say that. Obviously, we love you, man. We've thought of this section or whatever you want to call it for our show specifically because of you.
Profile.
You were literally the first one where like we got to get this guy on. For those of you guys who don't know, Kent's such a big, gregarious, fun guy. He's got so many cool stories and awesome things that he's done in his life. He's got a great family and just a stand-up guy.
And he's great to us.
And he is. Yeah. And we're so privileged to work for an organization like this. We talk about it all the time, but also to have people like you on our leadership team and steering the company. We really do appreciate it. We love you to death. And
that we do.
Once this COVID thing's over, we'll come down and get you a beer, buddy. How's that sound?
I hope so, because I miss you guys.
We miss you, buddy.
Thanks for the kind words, guys.
Absolutely, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All
right.
Love you.
And Kent, thank you for being on Connections for Life. That was great. We really appreciate you you joining us, sharing a little bit of your history with UPSCO and whatnot. Now back to our regularly scheduled program, so to speak. So with that said, I'd like to introduce and welcome to Connections for Life, Jim Schauer. Jim is the Executive Director of Strategic Alliances at Energy WorldNet, or better known as EWN. Jim is an
business
awesome
card
guy.
This big, Ted?
It's got
holy cow with that title.
My gosh. And Jim's got 20 years in the energy field, and he's filled with connections, man. His passion is people, so I'm sure he's going nuts during this COVID pandemic. But yeah, that's what I got. Welcome to the show, Chad. Chad, you got something on him?
Yeah, so I've known Jim for a few years now too, and just quite a character, quite a guy. Everybody loves to be around him. He's just he's a ball of energy and a lot of fun to be around, a lot of fun to talk to. And I think we're actually gonna do some throw together things with their show too. But Joe, you've known him the longest and probably the best out of any of us, really.
Yeah, Jim's awesome. You guys will love him. For those of you that don't know him, he's great. Unfortunately, we had to do the interview without Mr. Peet. I think he had a late night happy hour Zoom meeting run long, so we missed him that day.
No such thing.
We missed him that day, but no, but Jim's great. You guys kind of summed it up. I think Jim tells a little bit more about his background and his past, in the interview. So happy to have him, and welcome to the show, Jim Schauer.
On 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the show, Jim Schauer. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
Absolutely fantastic.
You look
Looking good.
fantastic, Jim, down there. You know, the weird part is you're down there, you have Florida behind you, or a beach of some sort, and you actually are in Florida. That doesn't seem fair or right, but that's okay.
Well, happy, healthy. Look at you, buddy.
Yeah, happy and healthy. We have all the blessings in the world. And I got to tell you, being on with my two brothers here today puts a smile on my face, and absolutely love it. So I appreciate the time today, and so glad that I could join y'all.
Well, we appreciate you being here too, Jim. In regards to that, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys do at EWN, and maybe what's your role at EWN as well?
Sure, absolutely. We at EWN Energy WorldNet, we provide training and compliance to the oil and gas industry. So, most people will say, oh, so you do OQ. And I won't lie, we do. We do a lot of OQ, a lot of it. But we do so much more. Our compliance department is busy helping clients ensure that their OQ is compliant, and that's a big factor. But we do complete contractor management, our suite of tools coupled with our suite of people. Again, people, the right people and the right tools really make our solutions, something that operators and contractors alike seek out and deliver, that we deliver to them. That's just one part. We have a full-blown LCMS, which is a learning content management system that allows users to build training and evaluations. And awesome. The important part, Chad, awesome. Is guys, is customize your training, whatever makes sense. And when we hear the words, such as AOCs and such, you start to think of, how can I customize this training to make sure it's really relevant to what I have to do? So our solutions technology departments are some of the best in the business at figuring out what really is needed in the solutions. And our goal is to make, the end users, the people at the contractors, operators, the heroes in this. And so that's in a nutshell what
awesome.
We do. We really try to do everything we can for the customers.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, and you guys have some of the best trade show giveaways too in the industry. Just so you
hats.
know,
damn hats are everywhere.
Everything. I love your cup, but I know I had another second question in there too, Jim, which is what was your role? And I think you have a good explanation of that, maybe.
Well, yeah. My role at EWN. Wait for it. Okay, everybody, wait for it. I'm the executive director of strategic alliances. Now, strategic alliances, where you're saying, what is that? Well, that means that I help connect the dots between our solutions and even more solutions that don't yet exist. So I'm out trying to look at things from a very, take a step back outside of the box and look at all
big picture.
Things. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's almost like a business development role too, right?
It is. I mean, really when you think of it, Joe, every person in a corporation or company is in a business development role. Our role is to, build our business, build our customers' confidence, build our customers' trust, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody has a hand in that. It's really putting all those pieces of the puzzle. Even the people that never get out into the world, that are always at let's just say a cubicle working on a computer every day, they still have a very important part of all this.
Wow, that's a great point. Yeah,
it is. I guess, Jim, the question I have is with what's going on in the world now with the pandemic. How's EWN, I guess, handling that, and what steps and measures have you guys taken during this to adapt?
Well, it's been a challenge for everybody, and that's a great question, Joe, because we are essential, and like so many of us are, and we have continued to work, and not just really continue to work. We had a contingency plan, one of these that had been built over years, like what if. And literally in a half a day, we took a workforce that was 25% remote up to 100% remote in a half a day.
Jim, I don't want to cut you off. You guys actually had a contingency plan for that, for a scenario of this sort. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty impressive in itself. I mean, it's kind of what you do a little bit with the OQ, but man, to be able to do that in a half a day and not really have that many problems is pretty gosh darn impressive.
Yeah, and I'll give it, Chad. I'll give you. It wasn't necessarily for a pandemic because nobody saw this coming.
Sure.
But it's just life that we live in now. I mean, we have everything from hurricanes, tornadoes, whatever the case can be. And
zombie apocalypse.
Well,
and that
the Walking Dead. One thing that I think we've all
no free ads, Jim. No free ads for the Walking Dead.
Okay, let's take that out then. how many people are streaming stuff? And, right now, that's the other thing, we're all remote working on bandwidth that normally during, time, it's not a big deal, but now you have, exponentially more people at home streaming, doing video conferences, all that.
Sure.
So
eating up internet on us.
It's kind of ironic that as you were saying that, you kind of froze. Like you kind of like I hope it shows up in the video. Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, it was funny. Like literally while you were doing it. One of the things I wanted to talk about, Jim, also is as we've developed Connections for Life and made this a weekly type of thing, you've also put together your own show.
Yeah.
We want to hold the mug up there.
Well, I don't want to do a shameless plug, guys.
Now this is a free ad.
Coffee with Jim and James. For those of you who have not seen it, you guys should tune in. Jim, you want to just tell us a little bit about our audience who may have not seen it, what it's about, and maybe how to get on it?
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure. So my colleague and I, James Cross, James is our vice president of brand. So he is the mastermind behind our whole branding. And it really wasn't because of that. Honestly, we were sitting around, I hate to say it now, 2 months ago, and I'm an extrovert. He likes to get out. We're talking about, starting to climb the walls after day 3. And, he was like, we should do a webcast. And I'm like, oh, what is that? I'm not a techie guy.
That's what I said. I was like,
this is the same conversation Chad and I had. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he had a great concept, and he's like, how about we just have like a coffee, where we just sit around, drink some coffee, and we'll bring on industry guests. And the key to it was with the industry guests, what can we, at first it was very COVID related. Yeah, and now it's kind of morphed into, we're still dealing with some of the COVID issues, but how can this even go even further and bring in topics, subjects, anything that can help folks? People are very, and one thing that we've learned that is people are hungry for conferences, right? We all go to, I couldn't even tell you, I spent 150 nights on hotels last year. So we're all over the United States. And, one thing nice about conferences, you pop into a breakout session and you're there for 20 minutes, a half hour, and you really pick up something. And it's a talking point and it's a learning point for you. And so we try to do that too, that if we can bring some talking points where somebody might be on a break, they can go on to LinkedIn, hit on our link and say, oh, I'm going to learn about PSMS.
Check it out.
This is interesting. A couple things. Oh, I learned something. Well, at least I might have become now more consciously competent that I could ask questions that will help me even to learn more. Right. And that's our goal.
And I think that's why that was kind of our goal at the beginning, right, Joe, too, is just to try and bring the education of the people that we know in the industry that are our industry experts to everybody that wants to see it. It's kind of just sharing the info and connections. That's why we're connections part of it too.
Yeah, there's a time. I mean, there's a time, like we're in a time right now where I think you alluded to before, we're all sitting in front of a computer all day long, and it's for a lot of us that's not our norm. That's not the norm of our day, right? But we're able to access a lot more information. I know personally looked at about 1,000 more things online, industry related, than I ever would have before. I think being able to just, kind of gather some of that and then be able to put it out to everyone provides a little bit of value. And that was our entire purpose as well, is just be able to have a show or a platform to be able to talk about what's going on in the industry, any potential changes. And I think the initial thought was this will be for during this, right? But after everything's said and done, I think that it will be probably something that we continue
do forever, maybe, hopefully,
and do some things like, maybe Jim, we talked about maybe doing like some things on the road, like where we interview people at trade shows and put that on there, so some interesting ideas. I just want to say, for those of the folks that have not seen your show, it's awesome. It's great. You guys are doing an excellent job. We want mugs, just so you know. So we'll when we post the show, Jim, we'll put the links to your sites and all that on there, so everybody can click on that wants to look at it.
Yeah, and Jim, I know, Joe, I don't want to cut you off. I just know that I know that you were talking a little bit about some of the stuff that EWN does, and trying to be in the forefront of placing the things coming down the road to solutions that you guys provide. So if you could pinpoint a few things to make the world better for clients in our industry, what would those be? It's like a loaded question.
Wow.
How much time do I have? What do I got? 5 hours?
About 10 seconds. Talk fast.
We would
Take
put that
chances.
in essay form, 6 pages.
All right. Well, we've been around for 25, 26 years now, and we started as a training and education company. Dick Hornback and Dr. Sylvia Hornback, founded us, and we've just, grown over the years. And again, I bring that up because training and education is our, foundation. We
Vital.
want the world, our industry, to be better and safer. That's a huge mission of ours all the time. So when you think about that, if I were to break it down into a couple, one thing really important in today's age, mobility and paperless. This might have seemed like more of a luxury in the past, but now for high performance mobile platform, that's the key to life. When you can have things on your pad.
I have to assume nobody wants to carry a piece of paper. I mean, the future is nobody wants to carry anything really that somebody else has to touch, I assume.
So what you're saying is my Encyclopedia Britannicas are no good. That's what I'm
No,
hearing.
you should stop selling them now, Joe.
Yeah. Get out. If you're still going door to door, Joe, you want to
There goes my get rich scheme.
Yeah. Well, think about it. I mean, all the way up to, everything from basics, when somebody's doing an OQ, they want a computer-based training. And then when somebody does a performance evaluation and they're validating their knowledge, skills, and ability and all that, how nice is it to have a tablet and to say blank, 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 yes, 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 yes,
Sure.
Submit, you pass, it's shot into the system. That person then goes the next day, they go to an operator, they show up and the operator goes, well, who are you? And I'm like, well, we're Jim, Chad, and Joe. We're here to do blank, blank, blank. And they're like,
Sure.
Okay, and they can go on their tablet, they can go on their phone, punch it in and say, oh, wow, you guys are qualified. Oh, okay. Jim, you go with that crew. Chad, you go with that crew. Joe,
Right.
We're not sure about you. So you just sit here.
That sounds about right.
And you know Joe well.
Right.
I do.
I wouldn't let me on a job site. I'm just saying.
So, paperless, electronic, that whole is critical, not just now. I mean, not just in the future. It's now. It's here.
Sure.
And the other thing is probably custom training. Again, we hit on it before, but not every training is the same. Somebody in the north is going to have very much different AOCs. One, it gets down to -5 degrees.
Yeah.
In Florida, we don't get down to minus nothing. But we have things called swamps. We have, low-lying waters. We have hurricanes. And so we all have these different items. So, for an operator to be able to take, a training and customize it and,
Right.
Really wrap into their AOC so it's pertinent to everything that they do, that's a key.
I don't know.
Really
I don't know,
exciting.
Jim, but somehow you just made me excited about training, and I'm not sure that was possible.
Come on.
Wow.
I was gonna
We'll
say
do it
I was
together.
excited. I was gonna be excited except for that reference about the job site before. So
Joe, if I go to a job site, I want you. Actually, I
Yeah.
heard some stories about Joe back in the years going down into caverns, looking at pipes.
Caverns.
yeah, it was pretty. There were some funny stories there for sure.
Joe got kind of quiet on that one.
Caverns.
No, it's just some really dark days there, but no, but in all seriousness, Jim, thanks for coming on, man. We love you to death. We would love to have you guys on again, or you on
I'd love
again.
to see you at a trade show.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing you. We're really excited about your show. We hope that you find some your audience finds some value in our show as well. So
Absolutely. We love your show.
Thank you
that's
so
why I
much
couldn't
for
wait to
coming
get
on. Yeah, the other thing I want to say is if you haven't noticed, one of the Stooges is not here. Ted was on had something come up today, so he wasn't able to make it, but we miss him. Hopefully he'll be back next show. So
I just thought he didn't turn his camera on.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm still. Who made it? Did Payjack make that reference about Mo, Larry, and Curly a couple episodes back?
It was
Yeah,
Danny.
he tried to hijack our show.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. All right, Jim.
All right, Jim. Well, it was good talking to you,
seeing
Jim.
buddy.
Always good seeing you, buddy.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Jim, thank you for joining us on Connections for Life. We really appreciate you coming on the show, man. I'm excited to actually to watch that interview since I didn't get to partake in it. But things happen. Moving forward in here, we're going to go into our industry update. And we got some really cool things happening. NGA, the Northeast Gas Association, is doing a ton of virtual trainings, including the annual gas operations school and exhibit. That'll take place digitally or virtually from June 2nd to June 5th. You can go right on their website and register for that. Additionally, each week they're putting out different workshops. And throughout the months of May and June, they're going to be doing 2020 NGA pipeline safety regulation workshops. So be on the lookout for that. We'll throw some of the links for that in the bottom of the video. But that's all I got. How about you, Chad?
Yeah, I only had one real quick one that's still exciting news to me, because it's one of the only trade shows I know of that's still on schedule and on track, supposedly, which is the Appalachian Gas Measurement Short Course that happens at Robert Morris the first week of August. They sent out an email that it is still planned on being attended, and it is in the new event center as well. So it's that's the brand new building that they built there at Robert Morris. It should be pretty neat. That's all I really had, but I just want everybody to know it's still going on.
First week in August, you said?
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. My turn.
You're the only one left.
Okay, well,
Just saying.
Chad usually sends it to Joe. I didn't get that. So, just a couple of things I got. Guys, if you haven't, Copperhead Tracer Wire has a kind of cool video out with Kathy Ireland. It's fancy. I don't know how they pulled that off. It's pretty awesome.
Sweet.
Check that out.
I don't want to call it bougie, but it's above my pay grade.
No kidding, right? That made connections for life. Look. So,
don't mind us, guys.
Yeah, right. The new Coffee with Jim and James episode came out also today, so you guys check that out. It seemed appropriate to mention it since Mr. Jim was just on with us, and
we're mashing up with him.
And Rick Grimal, who I know we're going to have on next week. Ted's going to cover that. Celebrated 7 years at MBW, so congratulations.
Oh,
yeah, cool. Good for him.
I'll give him
And
a golf clap.
the last thing I have is just a shout out for Memorial Day to all the veterans. Everybody, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ted.
Ted. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, it's just a weird
Future
time.
reference. That's not something you thank vets for. Memorial Day. That's where we pay tribute to the fallen. But it's okay. I appreciate the honor.
So how do I approach that then going forward?
Yeah, why don't you send us a little lesson here?
Teach me.
So moving forward, just so there's a couple specific days. This is a cool part of the show, you know. So Veterans Day is when you honor those veterans who are living and returned home from service and whatnot, and we thank them. Memorial Day is to honor the fallen, those who didn't make it home from that and whatnot. And then there's Armed Forces Day, which is for the active duty, and I think there's probably a couple other ones. So, but that's really what it is.
What's the other one? Army, whatever day you said or whatever.
Armed Forces Day.
Yeah.
I don't know the date. I'd be lying. You're making me look like a bad vet right now. Thanks.
Wow.
I was just curious.
No.
Anyway, so we got off on a tangent there, but thank you, I guess, or tribute or whatever I'm supposed to do. But just good job, Chad. You got anything else?
No. I'm good.
Hey. At UPSCO, we do connections all the way throughout the world, and we're learning this stuff. You know, little tribute.
Little tidbits. I like that.
Yeah. Moving forward, looking at next week's show, we are going to have, as Joe previously mentioned, Rick Grimal, and we're also going to have Dave Kepsel, both from MBW, Machine Builders of Wisconsin. I think that's one of the coolest acronyms ever.
It's our first 5-person show too.
It is our first 5-person show. You guys got to watch Rick. In the interview, he's got a sweet layout in it, and if you guys could see the bloopers from it, it would be priceless. We're talking about French bulldogs the whole time.
Yeah.
Without those, till further ado, we're heading out of here, guys. Thanks for joining us. Remember, click like.
Further ado.
Yeah. Without further ado, we're getting out of here.
There you go. You got it. Perfect.
Good.
All right.
Nailed it.
Next
Love you
week,
guys.
We'll talk to you later. All right.